You need to leave. Now. The store manager's voice cuts through the elegant jewelry store like a knife, loud enough for everyone to hear. The other customers turn to stare as Sarah stands frozen, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. But I just wanted to try on. Sarah's voice trembles, her worn jeans and simple blouse suddenly feeling like a costume in this world of crystal and gold. We don't serve your kind here, the manager sneers, eyeing her from head to toe. This is Ellington's. Our pieces start at $50,000. The mall has some lovely costume jewelry shops that would be more appropriate for someone like you. Sarah's eyes fill with tears as security approaches. The whispers and stares of wealthy patrons burn into her back. Just then, the door swings open. The entire store goes silent. Sarah, a tall, distinguished man in an impeccable suit, walks in, his presence commanding immediate attention. I was looking for you, darling. The manager's face drains of color as recognition dawns. Mr. Ellington. Before we continue, if you enjoy stories about unexpected twists of fate and powerful comeuppance, make sure to click that subscribe button. This is the best way for you to support our work. Thank you very much. And let's continue. 6 months earlier, Sarah Coleman stared at her tiny apartment's peeling wallpaper, bills scattered across the kitchen table. At 32, this wasn't where she had imagined her life would be. A substitute teacher with mountains of student debt and a dream of opening her own school for underprivileged children that seemed further away each day. The knock at her door came as she was calculating whether she could afford both electricity and groceries that week. Package for Sarah Coleman, the delivery woman said, handing her a thick envelope. Inside was a letter from Westfield Academy, the prestigious private school across town. They were offering her a full-time position teaching literature to their high school students. The salary was triple what she made as a substitute. Sarah's hand trembled as she read the letter again. This could change everything. But Westfield Academy represented everything she resented about education: privilege, exclusivity, students who'd never faced a real struggle in their lives. But the money, with that salary, she could pay off her debts and start saving for her dream school. The next morning, Sarah walked through Westfield Academy's imposing gates. The campus resembled a small university, with manicured lawns, stately brick buildings, and students in crisp uniforms. She felt out of place in her one professional outfit, purchased years ago for interviews. Miss Coleman, a deep voice interrupted her thoughts. I'm Alexander Ellington, head of the board of trustees. I'm the one who recommended you for this position. Sarah found herself face to face with a man in his mid-40s, tall with salt and pepper hair and striking blue eyes. His suit probably cost more than her car. Mr. Ellington, she managed, extending her hand. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I'm curious. Why me? I'm just a substitute from the public school system. Alexander smiled, revealing perfect teeth. My daughter Emma was in your class last semester. She's attended the finest schools globally, yet she came home talking about you, about how you made her care about literature for the first time. That's a rare gift, Miss Coleman. Emma? Sarah searched her memory. Emma Bennett? I had no idea she was. She uses her mother's surname at school, Alexander explained. We try to give her as normal an experience as possible. Difficult when your father is. He trailed off with a self-deprecating shrug. Only later did Sarah learn exactly who Alexander Ellington was. Billionaire CEO of Ellington Industries, a global technology empire. His name graced buildings, charitable foundations, and university departments. His face occasionally appeared in business magazines, though he was notoriously private about his personal life. Sarah's first weeks at Westfield were challenging. The students, accustomed to teachers eager to please their influential parents, tested her constantly. Her colleagues were polite but distant, clearly wondering how someone with her background had secured such a coveted position. Only Emma Bennett Ellington treated her with genuine enthusiasm, becoming her unofficial ambassador among the student body. The girl was brilliant and kind, nothing like what Sarah would have expected from a billionaire's daughter. One evening, as Sarah was grading papers in her classroom, Alexander Ellington appeared at her door. Working late, Miss Coleman? Please call me Sarah, she said, suddenly conscious of her messy hair and coffee-stained blouse. And yes, these essays won't grade themselves. Call me Alex, Sten. He set down a paper cut. I brought you coffee. Black with 1 sugar, right? Emma mentioned it. Sarah was touched by the gesture. Thank you. How's Emma doing? I mean, outside of class. Alexander's professional demeanor softened. Better since starting your class. Her mother died 3 years ago. Cancer. Emma stopped engaging with school after that. Until you. I'm so sorry, Sarah said. She's an exceptional young woman. She is, Alexander agreed. Would you consider tutoring her? Privately? She wants to apply for creative writing programs, and your insight would be invaluable. The tutoring sessions began the following week. Sarah visited the Ellington mansion twice weekly, still awestruck by its grandeur despite her principled stance against excessive wealth. Emma thrived under her individual attention, her writing growing more powerful each week. Alexander often joined them for dinner afterward, and Sarah found herself lingering longer each time. Their conversations ranged from literature to philosophy to their personal histories. Despite their different backgrounds, Sarah discovered in Alexander a thoughtful man with genuine concerns about inequality and education reform, concerns that mirrored her own. Why don't you just throw money at the problem? Sarah asked one evening after a particularly passionate discussion about failing public schools. Isn't that what billionaires do? Start a foundation, get a tax write-off, slap your name on a building. Instead of taking offense, Alexander laughed. I deserve that, but lasting change requires more than money. It needs people with vision and determination. People like you, Sarah. Their eyes met across the table, and something shifted between them. Months passed. Sarah's relationship with Alexander evolved from professional to friendship to something more. She resisted at first, conscious of the power imbalance and her own prejudices about wealth. I don't belong in your world, she told him one evening as they walked through his garden. Perhaps it's time to create a new world together, he replied, taking her hand. Emma was surprisingly supportive when they finally told her about their relationship. I've been dropping hints for months, she said, rolling her eyes with teenage exasperation. Dad needs someone who challenges him, and you need someone who believes in your dreams. Sarah. As Sarah and Alexander grew closer, he encouraged her to share her vision for an innovative school that would combine academic excellence with accessibility for all students regardless of background. You could make this happen, he told her. Your passion, your experience crossing between different worlds. It's exactly what's needed. Their relationship wasn't without challenges. Alexander's world was filled with people who viewed Sarah with suspicion or outright contempt. At social functions, she overheard whispers about the gold-digging teacher who had trapped one of the world's most eligible bachelors. Sarah maintained her apartment and her independence, refusing to become financially dependent on Alexander. She continued teaching at Westfield, earning respect through her dedication and results rather than her relationship. When Alexander proposed 6 months after they began dating, Sarah hesitated. Not because she didn't love him. She did. Deeply. But because marriage would fundamentally change her identity in ways she wasn't sure she was ready for. I'm not asking you to become someone else, Alexander said, sensing her concerns. I fell in love with Sarah Coleman, passionate educator with dirt under her fingernails from community garden projects, and ink stains on her hands from grading papers all night. That's who I want to marry. Their wedding was small and private, attended only by Emma and a few close friends. Sarah wore a simple dress that cost less than Alexander's tie. They wrote their own vows, promising to support each other's dreams and challenge each other's assumptions. They agreed to keep the marriage quiet for a time. Sarah wanted to finish the school year as Ms. Coleman, not Mrs. Ellington. She wasn't ready for the scrutiny that would come with her new status. Which brings us back to that fateful day at Ellington's jewelry. Sarah had entered the store on a mission. Their 1-month anniversary was approaching, and she wanted to purchase something special for Alexander with her own money. Something meaningful rather than extravagant. The moment she walked in, Sarah felt the judgment. Her simple clothing and lack of designer accessories marked her as an outsider. Still, she approached the counter with confidence. "I'm looking for a men's watch," she told the salesperson, who barely glanced up from his phone. "Watches start at $65,000, he said dismissively. "That's fine," Sarah replied, though the amount represented nearly her entire year's savings. "I'd like to see something classic, perhaps with a leather band." The salesperson's eyebrows raised slightly. He called over the manager, whispering something Sarah couldn't hear. The manager approached, his smile not reaching his eyes. "May I help you? I'm interested in purchasing a watch for my husband." "I see." The manager's gaze swept over her critically. "And how were you planning to pay for this purchase?" "Cash," Sarah said, her discomfort growing. Other customers were watching now, their expressions ranging from amusement to pity. "Toss," the manager chuckled. "Our pieces require verified funds. Perhaps you misunderstood the caliber of establishment this is." Sarah's temper flared. "I understand perfectly. I'd like to see your watches, please." The manager's smile disappeared. "I think it's time for you to leave." "Excuse me, you need to leave now." The manager's voice cuts through the elegant jewelry store like a knife, loud enough for everyone to hear. The other customers turn to stare as Sarah stands frozen, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. "But I just wanted to try on." Sarah's voice trembles, her worn jeans and simple blouse suddenly feeling like a costume in this world of crystal and gold. "We don't serve your kind here," the manager sneers, eyeing her from head to toe. "This is Ellington's. Our pieces start at $50,000. The mall has some lovely costume jewelry shops that would be more appropriate for someone like you." Sarah's eyes fill with tears as security approaches. The whispers and stares of wealthy patrons burn into her back. Just then, the door swings open. The entire store goes silent. "Sarah," Alexander walks in, his presence commanding immediate attention. "I was looking for you, darling." The manager's face drains of color as recognition dawns. Mr. Ellington, I didn't realize." Clearly, Alexander's voice is ice cold. "What's happening here?" Before Sarah can speak, a customer approaches. "They were throwing her out," Mr. Ellington called security on her. It was horrible to watch. Alexander's jaw tightens as he turns to the manager. "You were removing my wife from my store?" The word wife echoes through the showroom. Gasps and whispers spread like wildfire. "Your wife," the manager stammers. "But she's not wearing." "Not wearing what?" Alexander's voice is dangerous now. "Designer clothes? Family jewels? Or did you assume because she's not dripping in diamonds and entitlement, she doesn't belong here?" "Sir, I apologize, we had no idea." "That's precisely the problem." Alexander cuts him off. "You shouldn't treat anyone this way, regardless of who they are or who they're married to." "Of course, Mr. Ellington. Please, perhaps you'd like to show Mrs. Ellington our exclusive collection." "No," Sarah finds her voice. "I don't want anything from this store, ever." Alexander takes her hand, his eyes full of love and pride. "Let's go, darling. I believe I need to make some personnel changes in this establishment." As they walk toward the door, Alexander pauses. Turning back to the now silent room, he says loud enough for everyone to hear, "My wife is the most valuable thing in this store, and she was here before any of you recognized her worth." Outside, Sarah's hands are shaking. "That was humiliating. I'm so sorry you experienced that," Alexander says, genuine pain in his eyes. "What were you doing there? You hate those kinds of places even more than I do." Sarah laughs weakly. "It was supposed to be a surprise. Our 1-month anniversary is next week." Alexander's expression softens. "Oh, Sarah, I wanted to buy you something special with my own money," she admits. "Something meaningful, not expensive. I thought maybe a watch to replace the one your father gave you that broke last month." Alexander pulls her close. "That's the most thoughtful thing anyone's ever wanted to do for me. But you know what? I have another idea." 1 month later, Sarah stands before the gathered crowd. cutting the ribbon on the new Sarah Coleman Scholarship Fund offices. The fund, established with the money originally allocated to Ellington's jewelry, which now operates under new management with a strict non-discrimination policy, will provide full academic scholarships to promising students from disadvantaged backgrounds. Education shouldn't be a luxury, Sarah says into the microphones, and worth should never be determined by appearance or wealth. Alexander stands beside her, beaming with pride. Emma takes photos, documenting the moment her stepmother's dream begins to take shape. The first scholarship recipients will attend Westfield Academy in the fall, with guaranteed acceptance to any university upon graduation. But this is just the beginning. Plans for Sarah's innovative school are already underway, with land purchased and architects hired. That evening, as they walk hand in hand through their garden, Alexander gives Sarah a small box. "I thought we agreed no expensive gifts," she says, hesitant to open it. "It didn't cost much," he assures her. "Open it." Inside is a simple watch with a leather band, not from Ellington's or any luxury brand, but from a small artisan Alexander found online. "Turn it over," he says. Engraved on the back are the words, "To SC, time spent changing the world with you is the greatest gift." Sarah runs her fingers over the engraving. "SC, Sarah Coleman Ellington," Alexander explains. "Your name, your identity, your choice how to use it." Sarah fastens the watch to her wrist, its weight comfortable and reassuring. In this moment, she realizes something profound. Her value was never tied to Alexander's wealth or status. It was always her passion, her principles, her determination to make a difference. And now, with resources to match her vision, there's no limit to what she can accomplish. As if reading her thoughts, Alexander says, "You know, when we first met, I thought I could help you achieve your dreams. Now I realize you would have made them happen with or without me. I'm just lucky to be along for the ride." Sarah smiles, thinking about the scholarship students who will soon have opportunities they never imagined possible. About the school that will break down barriers between worlds. About all the lives that will change because she refused to change who she was, even when it would have been easier. "We're both lucky," she says, taking his hand. "Some people spend their whole lives trying to prove their worth through what they own. We get to prove ours by what we give." The manager who humiliated Sarah sent her a formal apology letter, along with his resignation. Sarah responded with an invitation to apply for a position at her future school as the facilities manager. "Everyone deserves a second chance," she wrote, "and everyone has value beyond first impressions." It was a lesson Sarah herself had learned through her journey from struggling substitute teacher to billionaire's wife to educational pioneer. The trappings of wealth and status meant nothing without purpose. And purpose, she discovered, was something money couldn't buy. As the sun sets over their garden, Sarah and Alexander discussed plans for expanding the scholarship program globally. Their different perspectives, her grassroots experience and his global resources, create solutions neither could have developed alone. From the house, they hear Emma calling them in for dinner. The teenager has prepared a meal herself, insisting the staff take the night off. It's a simple pasta dish, the kind Sarah used to make in her tiny apartment. "Perfect," Alexander declares after taking a bite. Sarah agrees, but she's not thinking about the food. She's thinking about how sometimes the most valuable things come in the most unexpected packages, and how being recognized for your true worth is the greatest luxury of all.